So one day you might be thinking, all right, the world is getting back on its axis. Things are a little bit more normal. And then bam, boom, in Tennessee, you have a woman that is running for Congress claiming that she is a birthing person, and that men can actually give birth. And simultaneously, you have a biological man winning the world's strongest woman competition.
Don't look now, but you just won! Yeah, I won! I'm a strong woman! Look at it! It's mine! I'm the best!
Guys, it is seriously days like these when I just want off this planet because it is so insanely absurd. Like the situations that we are living in, if they were not so disgusting and dysfunctional, they would simply be funny and outlandish because of how genuinely absurd they are. Now, as a follow-up to yesterday's episode, I want to do my due diligence as a Tennessean and just say that immediately after I filmed that episode, like within minutes of me clicking, stop on the camera button, about 10 million more videos of Afton Bain, who's running for Congress in this special election in Tennessee, came out. One where she did call herself a birther and said that men could have babies. Another one where she was shaming women for wanting to have children. There was one, this one was my particular favorite one. She was being hauled out of Governor Bill Lee's office screaming and crying after she had charged into his office to have some kind of, intervention with him. I don't know what was going on. It is truly insane. So Tennessee, all I'm saying is choose wisely. Like, we are still a safe haven from the types of stories, the insanity that we're gonna be talking about today. So vote wisely. Today's the last day for early voting. Next week, December 2nd, get your butts out there because we do not want her in office. Before we dive into today's story, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and of course, ring that notification bell to make sure that you stay up to date on all of our videos. And also head on over to brettcooper.com if you want to see our new and improved Cooper Confidential. That is our subscription platform where you can get behind the scenes vlogs and content in addition to ad-free episodes of The Brett Cooper Show. So go check that out at brettcooper.com. All right, so let's dive right on into the story. And I promise there is a silver lining here because you might get through this whole thing and you're like, Brett, I feel like the world is not getting any better. There is a redemption arc at the end of this episode, so stick around for that. Anyway, so the story that we need to talk about today is what happened this past weekend at the world's strongest woman competition. This is a big weightlifting competition and it happened in Arlington, Texas this past weekend. And Jammie Booker, a transgender athlete, just won the title of world's strongest woman. And the internet and the lifting community at large is losing it, rightfully so. Now, I first caught wind of this story when Piers Morgan posted about it. He said very sarcastically, "Many congratulations to Jammie Booker, who has won the world's strongest woman competition in Arlington, Texas. The fact that Jammie is a biological male with a massive physical advantage over the actual woman competing should not detract from this well-earned victory." Thunderous applause, everybody clapping like seals. Now, of course, the fact that this person is a biological man should not take away from the fact that he just won strongest woman of the year. Biological advantages, guys, as you know, are simply bigoted myths. So why are we even concerned with this? Obviously, because they're not myths, because that is real. Somebody commented and said, "The patriarchy wins again." And then this comment was just so perfect. It's a bit longer, but I want to read this to you. This was under Pierce's post. "After centuries of women clawing their way to the right to vote, own property, get an education, escape being legal chattel, and finally carving out a tiny corner of elite sport where raw biology does not automatically hand every medal to males, we have reached peak progress. Just put on some lipstick, drop your testosterone to whatever the current arbitrary number is, still 5 to 10 times higher than any female competitor has ever produced naturally, and congratulations, you now get to swagger into the women's division and collect the titles, prize money, records, and sponsorships that actual women spent their entire lives bleeding for. Because nothing screams equality like watching a 6'4" athlete who went through full male puberty deadlift 800 pounds like it's a warm-up set, while the woman who was trained since she was 12 and sacrificed everything gets bumped off the podium by somebody whose only real disadvantage was having to wait a year or two before being allowed to dominate her. And when women dare to point out that this feels an awful lot like the same old story, males taking whatever they want from females, the chorus immediately shouts, 'Bigot!' Apparently caring whether female athletes get to experience a single category on earth where male physiology does not reign supreme is now proof that you secretly hate women. Yes, women fought for generations to escape male oppression, only to be told in 2025 that the ultimate form of liberation is handing the fruits of that struggle straight back to males who say the magic words, 'I'm a woman now.' If that isn't the most humiliating plot twist in the history of so-called feminism, I don't know what is." Now again, I know that that was a long comment, but I mean, that sums up I think, all of our feelings on this issue. And the worst part is that those quote unquote feminists who are telling all of us women that actually this is liberation, this is inclusivity, this is the right thing to do, it's the toxic empathy that Allie Beth Stuckey is always talking about, those so-called feminists, they've cheered for it at every turn. They are basically praying for their own demise. They're praying for the demise of future generation, for their future daughters. Now, thankfully, those kinds of prayers are not on the Hallow app. Now, believe it or not, Christmas is sneaking up fast, and between shopping and travel and endless to-do lists, it is chaos every single year. I know you guys understand that, but we do not just have to survive it. We can reclaim the peace and purpose that Christmas was meant to bring through Hallow, and that is why I love what Hallow is doing this year. Their Advent challenge, Pray 25, called Be Still, features reflections from Chris Pratt and Gwen Stefani, Jonathan Rumi, and so many more. It is a call to pause, breathe, and remember the real story of Christmas, one that wasn't cozy, but actually raw and uncertain. A young woman's life completely upended, a man trying to protect his family, and a corrupt ruler trying to destroy it all. And yet, amidst all of that, they were able to find peace. This is not about some Hallmark Christmas moment. It is about finding stillness and divine peace in a broken world, and Pray 25 can help you do that this year. Try Hallow free for 3 months at hallow.com/Cooper to get started. Seriously, guys, check it out. It is the perfect way to reset before the whirlwind begins. All right, now back to the story at hand with the strongest women competition. The story here with Jammie Booker is interesting because allegedly, who knows, you can tell me if you believe this, allegedly no one knew that Jammie was transgender. Nobody knew. The competitors did not know that they were going to be competing against a biological man. And also, Jammie is very new in the strong man, strong woman, competition scene. So new, in fact, that all of his titles are only from 2025, where he coincidentally dominated in all of them. And his first Instagram post was actually only made in 2022. But then in he waltzes to the 2025 Strongest Woman competition, and he easily takes first place, something that Jammie himself thought could never happen. Just listen.
I genuinely did not expect this outcome, and I'm not saying that in a way to gloat or be prideful. When I signed up for this competition, I did not expect to win. It was a pipe dream.
Okay, I'm sorry. How is it a quote-unquote pipe dream that you didn't know you were going to win when you've only done 2 other competitions where you dominated in all of them because of a very clear and obvious biological advantage? Like, you placed second and first in the only other 2 competitions that you have ever competed in. I mean, just take a look. These are the Strongman archives, and you can see the 3 competitions that Jammie has competed in. And guys, just based on the response from Jammie's competitors, you can see just in those videos that something was wrong. I mean, just look at what Andrea Thompson, who came in second, aka she got first place, did on the podium. Just watch this video. So there's Jammie up on the podium. She walks right off. Now, if you were watching on YouTube, you probably saw the captions on that video, but if you are listening, if you watch her face, you can see that she is mouthing, "This is bullshit." And then she says, "Can we go?" She looks up at Jammie, she scowls, she shrugs her shoulders, and she marches straight off the podium, as she should. Because this is a complete and utter disgrace. And it is, of course, a disgrace when a man competes against any woman in her sport, but it is especially disgraceful, especially disgusting, in a competition like this where biological advantages are so insanely obvious. I mean, it is literally the South Park meme from years ago, where the man, somebody who is very obviously a man, is standing on the first place podium. Straight down to the jubilant celebrations while the real women are pushed to the side. Now, in this case, thankfully, the celebrations did not last that long, because while people were not told that this was a trans individual that they were going to be competing against, they quickly knew that something was up. Reddit sleuths took off, and within hours, somebody had pulled an old video from Jammie's YouTube channel confirming his transgender identity. This is from 8 years ago. Just take a listen.
Everyone on Earth is dying to tell their own story, and I am obviously no exception to that. I'm a 21-year-old trans woman with a history of abuse, struggling to stay true to herself while under the rule of her religious parents.
So again, if you are just listening to the audio version, this is a video. It looks like some kind of school presentation. There's artwork, and Jammie is doing that voiceover saying, "I am a trans woman, and I'm struggling to express myself in my oppressive religious household." And from there, once that was posted on Reddit, the internet absolutely erupted, and Jammie's comment section turned into this. One person said, "Andrea robbed by a 7-foot man." Another person said, "Imagine being this big and still being this weak of a man. Another person said, ridiculous, give that title to the actual winner. And then the last comment I'll read is stunning and brave. Congratulations on becoming a professional piece of shit. Now, obviously, these comments are not directed at Jammie simply because they are a transgender individual, but it is because he is taking the place of a woman who fought to be there, who deserves that #1 podium because he obviously has a biological advantage. And even more so because he allegedly did not inform anybody that he was transgender. They had no idea that this is who they were going to be competing against. So yes, that is a POS move. Now, on top of all of those responses in Jammie's comment section and obviously the discourse that was exploding over on X, the former strongest woman came out swinging with an incredible statement in support of women like Andrea. She wrote, "This isn't about identity. It isn't about politics. It is about the undeniable physical differences that exist in strength-based sports. Differences that don't disappear and that matter more here than almost anywhere else. Women's categories were created for a reason, and if we lose that, we lose the foundation of our sport. What happened this weekend wasn't transparent. None of us knew. Not even the organizers knew. And when fairness is taken by surprise, trust in the support begins to crack. My message is simple. Trans people belong in sport, but women's divisions must remain biologically born female only." I mean, how is that controversial? How is that a statement that in 2025, we are still called TERFs and bigots for simply saying we want spaces of our own? It is what we fought for decades. We are simply asking that biological men do not compete against us with their very clear biological advantages. Now, guys, within minutes of me writing this episode, the facade started to crumble. Nature was coming back into balance just like it is when I take my Balance of Nature supplements. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I am always looking for simple ways to get more fruits and vegetables into my day, and Balance of Nature fruits and veggie supplements make that easy. With Balance of Nature, there are no binders, fillers, or flow agents, just ingredients from 16 whole fruits and 15 whole vegetables, freeze-dried and lab-tested. Their supplement powders are made from 100% whole foods, delivering the natural goodness of fruits, vegetables, spices, and fibers, just as nature intended. And they are not just convenient, they are the original balance of color, taste, and smell. Now, right now, on Black Friday weekend only, just head on over to balanceofnature.com and get a free variety snack pack plus a free preferred customer membership with your first set of Balance of Nature supplements. Go to balanceofnature.com to claim this limited time offer before it ends on Cyber Monday. Now, another company that I do not want to be silent about is obviously Silencer Shop. My friends over at Silencer Shop are bringing you the best suppressors for your firearms, the one upgrade that instantly makes your guns perform quieter with more accuracy and less recoil, just all over performing better and having way more fun shooting. Now, yes, before you ask, suppressors are 100% legal in most states, and Silencer Shop has simplified the entire process. You just pick out your suppressor, make your account, sign a couple forms, and they handle all of the heavy lifting. You can get your suppressor in just a few days. They have helped hundreds of thousands of shooters do it, and they're also not just behind the counter. Silencer Shop is out there defending your Second Amendment rights every single day. So if you are ready to make your shooting experience smarter, safer, and seriously way more fun, head on over to silencershop.com/Cooper to get started. Again, that's silencershop.com/Cooper because shooting suppressed just makes you better. Now, back to the story, and this is where it actually gets positive, so I'm glad you've stuck with me. But when I say that the facade began to crumble, I mean it happened, boom, instantaneously. Because when I went back to that Strongest Woman archives page to screenshot it so that I could use it in the episode, where I first saw 3 titles, including first place in the World's Strongest Woman, it had been scrubbed. No longer did Jammie have 3 titles, they only had 2 left. And then almost immediately after that, the organization, the Strongest Woman organization, came out with a statement. And they allegedly are saying that they had no idea that Jammie was trans. So this is the post they made. They said, "We wanted to provide an update on what is happening following the official Strongman Games World Championships in 2025, which were held in Arlington, Texas. It appears that an athlete who is biologically male and who now identifies as female competed in the women's open category. Official Strongman officials were unaware of this fact ahead of the competition, and we have been urgently investigating since being informed. An attempt has been made to contact the competitor involved, but a response has not been received." So they've not even heard back, and yet they are still taking action, which I think is just great. Had we been aware, or had this been declared at any point before or during the competition, this athlete would have not been permitted to compete in the women's open category. We are clear. Competitors can only compete in the category for the biological sex recorded at birth. Official Strongman is inclusive and proud to run events which do not discriminate against athletes based on personal characteristic. Any athlete is welcome, but it is our responsibility to ensure fairness and ensure athletes are assigned to men or women's categories based based on whether they are recorded male or female at birth. I mean, they are not playing around. They're not doing, okay, well, we'll do a little testing here. We'll do a little testosterone here. No. They're saying it is based on how you were born, cut and dry. That is it. Allegedly, we had no idea. But it didn't just stop there, because Jammie's sponsors also started pulling too, saying that Jammie misrepresented critical information, therefore violating good sportsmanship, which is an incredible way to put it. Because again, this is not about transphobia or homophobia or the way you identify or who you sleep with or how you want to dress or what pronouns you want to go by. It is simply about fairness. It is simply about protecting women. And for the side of the aisle that seems so hell-bent on protecting these oppressed classes, they certainly don't care very much about women. But it seems like maybe things could be changing. Now, her former sponsor echoed what I just said, and they wrote that, this is not about identity or sexuality. It is about fairness and honesty, which are two things that Jammie allegedly did not seem to worry very much about. But I thought that the top comment on that post from Jammie's sponsor was worth reading as well. This man said, "I have dealt with gender dysphoria my whole life from sexual abuse as a child. I am supportive of people trying to be comfortable in their own bodies, and I deeply understand the struggle. That being said, there are limits." He goes on and he says, if you want to transition, you want to be an athlete, you need to compete against other trans people. This is not hate. That is not a phobia. This is not a right-wing idea. That's another thing they love to say. Having a woman lose a world record or title to basically a novice because of bone density and test levels is not fair. These women athletes work their whole lives and sometimes sacrifice their comfort and health to accomplish things bigger than themselves. Having that stolen when it could be once in a lifetime possibility is awful. No athlete deserves that. It is simply common sense. This is the kind thing to do. The left is always screaming about, we need to be compassionate, we need to be inclusive. This is compassionate. It is having compassion for the women who worked their asses off to get here. And also responding to these trans individuals and saying, I'm sorry, this is simply not right. We are pushing back. We are, drawing a line in the sand. We have boundaries. That is also compassionate. It is compassionate to care about the mental well-being of an individual. And setting those boundaries is unequivocally the right thing to do. Again, it is simply common sense. Just as it is also common sense that women like Trish Hyman, who we talked about just 2 weeks ago, should not have to share a locker room at her gym with a fully intact biological male who was mocking and berating her in front of many other women, who, by the way, the same trans individual has continued to assert publicly that he should be allowed in Trish's locker room and that he doesn't understand her discomfort per a TMZ interview. And he said that just a couple of minutes after he acknowledged that, yes, he still has full male genitalia. Full male genitalia that was fully on display to Trish and the other women in that locker room. And while things do seem crazy, unfortunately, especially over the last couple of weeks, I feel like I am just living in a washing machine when I'm scrolling on X, seeing everything that is going on in the world. We are still pushing forward. Changes are being made. And stories like this today, where there is hope, where there is redemption, this is why we need people standing up to this. People like the strong woman competitors who walked off, the coaches who said, we do not care about this individual. We are celebrating the rightful first place winner. The voices online who bring attention to situations like this so that women do not have to push back alone. It should not just be on the competitors who have to stand up there and face a biological man taking their spot. And so on that note, I want to end this episode by saying that Andrea Thompson is officially the world's strongest woman. She already was, based on my line of thinking, but now she has the official title and the official trophy to go along with it.